Chileans have elected the leftist former student protest leader Gabriel Boric as their new president, following one of the most polarising elections in decades there. Supporters of the progressive Social Democrats celebrated the victory in Santiago de Chile. Boric ran on a platform in support of public education, healthcare and equal rights for Indigenous and LGBTQ people. His opponent, far-right ultra-conservative Jose Antonio Kast, phoned Boric and conceded defeat. Kast was seen as the law and order candidate. Let's go straight to DW correspondent Benjamin Alvarez-Gruber, who's covering the election for us. Benjamin, you're in downtown Santiago. How is the victory of Gabriel Boric being received in the Chilean capital?
Good afternoon, Anthony. There are still people around here in the capital, Santiago. There is still music on stage. The president-elect Gabriel Boric already addressed the crowd. There are people celebrating. They are singing, and of course they are happy that after Jose Antonio Kast, the far-right candidate that you just mentioned, won the first round, now it's the turn of the former student protest leader. There were a lot of people coming to the center of the stage that's right nearby in the center of Santiago, and we were able to talk to some of his supporters who came here to celebrate that he will be the next president of Chile. Let's listen in.
I'm very happy and full of hope. Now change can happen, change that we have wanted for more than 2 years, or for 30 years.
I'm very emotional. This is a historic moment like nothing that has ever happened. There's no precedent in the history of Chile. It's truly emotional. We've made so much progress. Now we will move forward with social rights, continue to advance and fight against the far right.
I feel tremendous joy. I was here when I was 15 years old, celebrating the defeat of Pinochet. Now again we see that hope is back, hope for a more united and just country, even with all the things that remain to be done.
Some Chilean voters there reacting to the victory of Gabriel Boric. Talk to us a little bit more about the man, Gabriel Boric. Benjamin, what does he stand for?
He stands for to continue the work of this constitutional assembly that was drafted after the massive protest that rocked Chile in 2019 with a severe human rights crisis in this country. He talked to the victims of this human rights violation, saying that they will be investigated, that the perpetrators will be punished. He is also in favor of including the indigenous population. It will be one of the central points of this constitutional assembly that is already drafting a new constitution that will replace the constitution that dates back to 1980 at the time of the dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet. We just heard one man talking about the Pinochet dictatorship as well, the memories that he has today, and it shows that the dictatorship is also an important day today, not only because Gabriel Boric also wants to see these human rights abuses punished, but also because his opponent, Jose Antonio Kast, the far-right candidate, is still an admirer of the dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet and what was made during the dictatorship. So this is indeed something very interesting. It's a polarizing election. It was a polarizing day as well, something that many call the most important presidential election since the return to democracy in 1990.
From Santiago, Chile, DW correspondent Benjamin Alvarez-Gruber. Many thanks.
Well, let's bring in Latin America expert Günther Mayhold here. He works at the German Institute for International and Security Affairs here in Berlin. Good to have you with us. Now, Gabriel Boric is not only the youngest candidate who ever got elected in Chile, he also got more votes than any other presidential candidate in the history of the country. How do you explain his success?
He's a representative of a new generation. He has about half of the age of the actual president, Sebastián Piñera, and he's a representative of the student and social movements of the 2019 demonstrations on the streets. And at the same time, he represents a new generation of political actors, because all the old parties of the transition period of the Chilean democracy have been losing place, and he is now on the front of a social movement government which will generate new topics, new electoral perspectives for the people.
So a new generation of leadership, but the challenges that have been plaguing Chile are still very much the same. What are those challenges that the new president will have to prioritize?
He has been given a clear program to the people. He wants a reform of the development model and goodbye to neoliberal model where Chile has been the forerunner in the years of the past decades. And he wants to generate a new type of politics. This means that he has to come to a model to include the citizens on the street, to generate new forums to make policy, and at the same time to have the space with the Constitutional Assembly to write a new constitution.
Okay, there are pressing social and economic challenges in the country as well. He represents a new generation, you say. Well, other countries in Latin America are also struggling. They've been looking for changes too, and they've been watching this election. How important is this election for other countries in the region? What signal does it give to them?
At the first sight, it seems that the progressive part of the political systems in Latin America will be strengthened by this. But we must be clear that there is a heterogeneous cooperation between these different countries. Lula is the old generation, Boric is the new generation, though I think we will have a push to a left-oriented governments, but at the same time, we have to be clear that they will be interested in quite different questions in the internal side, and Boric will have some sort of new leadership that the old man can't represent.
Günther Mayholt from the German Institute for International Security Affairs, thank you very much.
You're welcome.